Right, okay, so we are now looking at part 9, the final part of our Key Stage 4 look at waves. So, God, we started quite a few lessons ago now. We started off with what exactly waves were. We looked at transverse and longitudinal waves. And then we looked at the meanings of the words amplitude, wavelength, frequency and speed. We then started having a look at the 3 different types of waves. We looked at sound and ultrasound waves, seismic waves, and we're looking at the light, at the electromagnetic spectrum and visible light and all other types of light waves involved in that spectrum. We then moved on and we had a look at the interactions of waves and how they change across different mediums, where we looked at reflection and refraction, dispersion and total internal reflection, and last lesson we were looking at diffraction. So now we're going to finish off with our uses of waves, how we use waves in the modern world. So, as you can see, we've got a nice big eyeball here. Now, because of the way that we see light, or the way that light works, it's all to do with the frequencies that are absorbed and reflected by those objects. Now, you see, if we see an object that's green, the reason why we're seeing it's green is because it's absorbing all of the light frequencies apart from the green ones. The green ones are the ones that they're reflecting, so that's why we see it green. Same as if I see, I don't know, you see that my shirt is white, it's because it's actually reflecting all of the frequencies, so therefore it's white. Or the red bit on my shorts, it's absorbing all of the frequencies except for the red ones. It's rebounding those red frequencies back off. That's why I perceive it to be red. So this is exactly how we can use our eyes with technology as a form of identification, as forms of security, because our irises are individual to every single one of us. They have an individual colour makeup that can obviously be detected, which can be noted down to make sure that that can be used in a security environment. So then moving on, we're looking at infrared, or we're looking at thermal radiation. We looked at LOR way back in our energy videos, back in Key Stage 3 and 4. And this type of infrared can be used in many different things. It's used in medicine, it's used for the police. Infrared can be used in terms of the fact that it's given off as thermal radiation. It can be part of thermal radiation. It can be seen to seek people out. There's also with fire, the fire department can use it to still detect hot spots in fires that they think they've got rid of, just to make sure that they don't actually go, they start back up again. Finally, X-rays. Everyone loves an X-ray. You can get to see the inside of your body, but exactly how does that work? Well, the way that X-rays work is that when they hit a dense material like bone, the bone actually absorbs those X-rays, but when it passes through, or when it gets to something soft like flesh or your organs, it actually has the ability to travel straight through. So the image that you're receiving is actually where the X-rays themselves have either been transferred straight through or actually absorbed by the bones in the way. So that's the only reason why we're getting a picture here, is because how those X-rays are absorbed or even transmitted straight through. But that is quite a common, obviously, use of X-rays and a type of wave within the electromagnetic spectrum. UV, what we actually have here is certain chemicals under UV light, those high frequency types of light waves, will give off this reflection, this colour, this bluish purpley colour. And again, this is used in banking for security. A lot of your notes, a lot of bank notes, pretty much all the good ones, all the ones that are actually real, will have these UV chemical marks on them. So if you ever get the chance, most shops will have them. I'm sure they'll give you a sneaky peek one day. If you actually ask them, just don't look too dodgy, or they might think that you're robbing you, and you don't want to do that. But this is all, again, for security reasons. The other thing is microwaves. Obviously, again, we talked about microwaves before, where, you know, a lot of us have microwaves in our kitchen. I know the time that I was a student, I pretty much lived using my microwave. And the reason why that is that the microwaves themselves get in and they heat up the water molecules. So those water molecules means that we can heat our food up. So that's obviously a really good thing in terms of convenience food. It's a bad thing if we expose ourselves to too many microwaves, because again it will get into the water in the cells in our body, start to heat those up, and will denature those cells. So it will kill those cells off or mutate them, which is always going to be bad news as well. Also, it's used in the weather industry, because they can actually put microwaves up into the sky. and depending on the amount they're reflected back or absorbed, will actually tell us how much water is in the atmosphere at the time. So it's used for weather stations to predict the weather, to be able to predict whether it's going to rain or not. So again, the electromagnetic spectrum, all the waves are in there, have a massive, massive ability to promote or to use in modern life. Not necessarily whether you knew it or not, but they're used in so many different aspects of modern life that are very, very important, but also some of them can be really, really dangerous, as we were talking about with microwaves. So we were talking about before, when we looked at total internal reflection, how reflection is really useful to us, and this is exactly, literally, to come straight out of that internal reflection again. We were talking about periscopes. Although a lot of them have been digitalised now, they're still basically the same idea in terms of this reflection of light. Again, with reflectors on bikes, but again, I think for the modern day, the most important is this use of total internal reflection within optical fibres. So being able to use this fibre to internally bounce light or digital signals in terms of light. For broadband, for your TV, it's used in medicine as well for exploratory diagnosis, so with endoscopes and so forth, to have a look inside you. Again, it's just the light bouncing off these tubes on the inside of these optical fibres, or it could just be a snazzy light in your living room, like I said before. But either way, again, really, really useful and modern invention and use of a really old idea of this reflection and this total internal reflection. So we've looked at the different types of waves and what they're used for, in terms of how the different types of electromagnetic spectrum are used, and how the different types of waves are actually used outside of that in terms of total internal reflection as well, outside of the electromagnetic spectrum. Right, so I mean that's the end of our look at Key Stage 4 waves. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope they've been useful for you. The next lot of videos that we're producing will actually be the continuation of waves. We're going to have a look at waves, an A-level section. It is the Unit 2 of the AQA specification, so I will be working to that. So if you want to have a look forward to that, have a little listen, have a little look through that specification, you'll know what's coming up. Hopefully they will be coming soon, but up until then, thank you very much. My name is Ian McDowell, I'm a student at White University.